on the news briefing for this Wednesday. We're sorry we're getting started a few minutes late. I appreciate your patience. I see we have our colleagues from FEMA with us, Chad Bowman, and I am hoping that Chad and Marielli Carty from SBA will give us an update on the FEMA extension and what residents who need to apply for assistance and how they can do that. Good afternoon, Chad and Marielli.
Good afternoon. Thank you for having us today.
So Chad, I'm hoping you can give us an update on the extension and what that means, and then what should people be doing as we move forward now until September 1st?
Absolutely. And again, thank you for having me. I do come with great news today in comparison to last week's press briefing. As you have heard, the individual assistance registration deadline that was originally July 20th has now been extended until September 1st. What that means is all individuals in the affected counties, including Monterey County, that have suffered damage due to the February and March storms now have until September 1st to apply with FEMA for FEMA assistance. The importance there is there are many locations where the damage was not noticed until later. If you were hesitant, if you did not know that you had damage until recently, or if you were just unsure about whether or not to apply, I highly, highly encourage you to register with FEMA by that September 1st deadline. I think it's important also to note that if you feel like you've had damage or suffered any damage and you don't think that you're going to qualify for assistance, there's only one way to find out. Because if you do not apply, you will not receive any assistance. If you do apply, there is an opportunity to receive that assistance, and you never know unless you try. So I think it's a very important aspect to know. That means that the phone number, the 1-800-621-3362, and the website, disasterassistance.gov, will be available through September 1st for individuals to call and register for FEMA assistance. That deadline has not passed, and we do still encourage everybody to reach out and apply. Additionally, if you've already applied, you can still contact us through those same methods for updates on your application or to answer any questions that you may have about any eligibility letters that were received or about your application status in general, including any appeals that may be necessary. So again, great news. You now have until September 1st to register with FEMA for assistance. We highly encourage anybody who suffered damage to apply for that assistance, and you can do so by calling 1-800-621-3362 or visiting disasterassistance.gov. So thank you very much for that. I will let Marielli with SBA speak further on the SBA side. And if you do want updated numbers, just as an FYI, I can give those after as well.
Thank you, and always a pleasure to have you with us, Marielli.
Thank you very much. Hello, everyone. Thank you, Chad. Okay, Maya, before speaking about the SBA numbers for Monterey County, I would like to talk about the extension. As my colleague Chad said, as everybody know here, the DRC at Pajaro Middle School closed last week. However, survivors of the storm that began on last February 21st and continuing can still apply for an SBA disaster loan for physical damage specifically until September 1st. Thanks, of course, of the extension granted by FEMA. It is very important to get this information to the public. So I invite you, as always you do, of course, to help us distribute the information. Survivors can apply through our secure website. We know we do not have anymore the DRC at Monterey County, but disaster survivors can apply online through our secure website, disasterloanassistance.sba.gov. And of course, if survivors have any question regarding their application or the process, they can call us to our customer service center at 800-659-2955. It is very important to mention that the customer service center of SBA, Disaster Assistance Office, does not complete applications through our customer service center. Survivors have to do it by themselves. The customer service center, Maya, does only answer questions regarding status or payments or any other thing, but no, they cannot help or assist in the process of the applications. Having said that, let's talk about some numbers. If anybody have any other question. May I continue, Maya, with the SBA numbers?
Yes, please. And then if you would go ahead and give your information in Spanish after that, that would be great.
Yes, ma'am. Okay, so SBA numbers for Monterey County. We have received 59 home loans application. That is a very good number, but still we have to encourage people that will still available to receive disaster loan applications. We have received 55 business and EIDL loan applications, and we have approved $2,695,900. I will put that information on the chat, Maya. And we received 1,564 FEMA referrals. That is a very good number, but still, we encourage survivors in the whole public at Monterey County and the other counties affected by these storms to apply for disaster assistance. And I have to repeat that these disaster assistance, you have no obligation to accept it, but you can apply if you need it. You just have to know that the disaster assistance is available for you in case you need it. Okay, so I will say the information in Spanish, Maya. Ok. Bueno, saludos a todos nuevamente. Como saben, el Centro de Recuperación de Desastres DRC en Pajaro Middle School ha cerrado la semana pasada. Es importante que la comunidad sepa que todos los afectados por las tormentas que comenzaron el pasado 21 de febrero y continúan, pueden aplicar para un préstamo de desastre de la SBA por daños físicos a través de nuestra página web segura hasta el 1 de septiembre. Gracias a la extensión que nos ha provisto FEMA, como dijo previamente mi compañero Chad de FEMA. Es importante que el mensaje llegue a la comunidad. Todavía seguimos informando, todavía seguimos recibiendo solicitudes. Así que les invito a que nos sigan ayudando como siempre lo han hecho a distribuir la información sobre la extensión que nos ha brindado FEMA. Todas las dudas o todas las preguntas que tengan los sobrevivientes de estas tormentas pueden comunicarse a través de nuestro número telefónico y centro de servicio al cliente al 1-800-659-2955 y pueden solicitar a través de nuestra página web segura disasterloanassistance.sba.gov. Es importante mencionar que el centro de servicio al cliente no completa solicitudes en línea, solo contesta preguntas sobre el estado de su aplicación, sobre pagos, entre otras cosas, pero no completa solicitudes en línea. Así que es importante que usted lo sepa. Habiendo dicho eso, hablemos un poco de los números que hemos entonces recibido la SBA por el condado de Monterrey. Hemos recibido 59 aplicaciones para ayuda a las casas, a las propiedades, y hemos recibido 55 aplicaciones para negocios o daños económicos. Hemos aprobado 2.695.900 dólares, así que es un buen número, pero continuamos recibiendo aplicaciones, así que es importante que llevemos el mensaje para que la comunidad sepa que seguimos recibiendo. Además de eso, hemos recibido 1.564 aplicaciones de parte de FEMA. Así que es importante, como siempre he dicho, continuar distribuyendo la información para que la comunidad sepa que seguimos ayudando y estamos disponibles. No hay obligación para poder entonces aceptar esta ayuda que ofrece la SBA, pero sí es importante que la comunidad sepa que está disponible en el caso de que lo necesite. Así que muchas gracias. Thank you, Maya.
Thank you very much. Thank you both, Marielli and Chad. Do we have any questions for Marielli and Chad before we move on to our next topic? If you have questions, you can put them in chat or you could ask them.
And I will put FEMA numbers in the chat if you'd like me to verbally report them, I can.
That would be super. And I do have a question. Oh, thanks you very much, Thomas Hughes, for raising your hand. You have a question.
Yes, thank you. I'm wondering for the Small Business Administration, the referrals from FEMA, if I got the number right, were 1,564, or you'll confirm the number in the chat, but compared to the number that's been approved, it seems quite high. And I'm wondering what the timeline is for those who have already been referred by FEMA to have an answer one way or another from SBA.
Oh, no, FEMA referred those to SBA, but they have no obligation to apply with us. It's just a referral. Of course, we encourage them to apply with us because in sometimes, and Chad can say something about that, they have to apply for an SBA loan in order for FEMA to receive disaster assistance from there or from us, but there's no obligation. So FEMA referred them to us, but they may have chose to not apply. Is that clear?
I think it's clear, but I wonder when FEMA refers them, do you just get the number of people, or do you actually get the identity of the people? And is there any outreach from SBA to follow up? Because
no. Remember, we cannot obligate anybody to apply with us. It's a referral. They receive the survivors receive the referrals. I'm sorry, Thomas. They receive the referral and they send the number to us, but we cannot call them to apply. They have to apply if they want to, but we cannot obligate them or follow up them about that. They have to apply if they want to.
And the referral comes straight from FEMA to the person.
Yes,
Okay.
exactly.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
You're very welcome.
Thank you, Thomas. That was a really good question and a great way to explain what that referral means, to the average person. I do have another question, and thank you, Hillary from Lookout Santa Cruz. This is for either Marielli or Chad. Have we heard of cases of people's flood insurance getting canceled? If so, how widespread is that? And what are the options available for them? Does FEMA offer insurance?
Marielli, I can take the lead on this one if you would like.
Yes,
Perfect.
please. Go ahead, Chad. Thank you.
Of course. Thank you, Hillary, for the questions, and I do see them here. It is the unfortunate reality that we have heard of individuals having their insurance canceled. We've also heard of individuals having their insurance premiums raised at time of renewal. It is not always a direct correlation to the fact that they had to apply for FEMA assistance or that they made a claim in order to apply based on the damage that they had received. What's happening throughout the state and even throughout the country, especially in wildfire-prone or flood-prone areas, is that these insurance companies, as we are well aware here in California, are beginning to cancel policies and raise premiums drastically due to the increased risk of wildfire and floods, especially wildfires here in California. So what's happening is that risk is there. Excuse me, these insurance companies are already on edge. And when a claim is made because of the flood damage or the damage suffered due to these storms, they're taking that into an account for a totality of circumstances in relation to the insurance premium. So it is very unfortunate that that is happening. It is the way the Stafford Act is written. It is the way the laws are written. And what we have to comply with which is individuals must contact their insurance in order to receive FEMA assistance or apply for FEMA assistance. So it's just the unfortunate reality of how it works. And we do see that happening for multiple reasons. What other options? FEMA does not offer insurance. I have not heard of that. It is not something that we are made aware of. There are other insurance companies that one can look to and also have a conversation with your current insurance to see if there's anything they can do based on the circumstances. Aside from that, the high level picture is to speak with your local elected officials at the not only the county level, but at the state level, and even your local congressmen and assemblymen or women, to talk to them about getting the legislation changed. I think it's important that this is a widespread issue, and the more individuals that raise it to their congressmen or women or assemblymen or women, the higher likelihood that something might be done, because as we all know, the squeaky wheel gets the attention. And so I do highly encourage individuals to reach out to your local representatives if you have further questions or would like to seek guidance and present information on having that changed in any way. And Hillary, as far as to your last question there, I do not have any levee repair update. I'm not sure if that's more for the county, but I did just want to comment on that. So hopefully that answers your question, Hillary. If you have further questions or follow up, let me know.
Thanks, John.
Yeah, Hillary, if you've got, oh, there you are. Do you have a follow-up question for him?
Oh, yeah. If you could just, I guess, clarify or say more, elaborate more on what you mean by, having folks reach out to their legislators to have something changed. What could a potential change look like? What do you mean there?
Absolutely. Well, the conversation that's happening across the country and here in the state, individuals are reaching out to their legislatures and local elected officials to try to get legislation changed to where you do not have to contact your insurance company in order to apply or be eligible for FEMA assistance. And if that requirement was removed and you can go straight to FEMA, then there might not be this issue of cancellations. I cannot say that that would affect it. Of course, I'm just letting you know kind of what the current movement is looking like, and what individuals are reporting is that they're contacting their local representatives, legislatures, elected officials in an effort to see if the requirement of reaching out to your insurance and making a claim can be removed in these situations. Whether or not that can occur, whether or not the legislation can change, would change, that's not something I can speak to, of course, or would even be able to have knowledge on, but that is the current movement and what people and individuals in these situations are doing to try to make that change happen. Does that make sense?
Yeah, thanks so much. I appreciate that. Thank you.
And then Hillary, you had asked about the levee repair update. We have not gotten an update on the work. We were aware last week we had said it was looking at repairs being done to the original break in about 2 to 3 weeks. And so we have not gotten anything further on an update on that. So just letting you know.
Okay, thanks very much.
So for folks that need the numbers, they are in the chat. Any other questions before we let Chad and Marielli go?
And Maya, really quick, I can verbalize the FEMA numbers for those who may be recording on here today.
Sure, go ahead.
Perfect. As of close of business yesterday, July 25th, the individual assistance registrations for Monterey County is 2,777. That is up by 144 registrations in the last week. The individual assistance funds that have been approved as of close of business yesterday, $5,506,164.03. So we are very pleased that that number has breached the 5.5 million mark at this time. And again, just remember the deadline is now September 1 to apply for assistance. As stated, I will place this information in the chat for everybody. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Chad, and thank you, Marielli, very much, as usual, always for being here and sharing information with us. There are still organizations that are working in Pajaro at helping residents with the recovery process. The Hope Crisis Response Network is one of them. Volunteers have been helping with residents with repairs to their homes. And we are very pleased to have Kevin Cox with us from that organization. He's been on with us before. And Kevin, we're really glad to have you back to give us an update on the work there. Hi, Kevin.
Hi, thanks very much. And hello to all of our friends there in Monterey County. Yes, I'm very pleased to be able to represent the volunteer support in Monterey County. We have been very fortunate. Many of you do know some of the work that we've done and some that don't. We were the boots on the ground immediately after the flood, and our volunteer partners and ourselves, we coordinated the debris cleanup from the household items to the curbside. And then we did quite a few muck outs, and then we did mud removal as well in the community. We served about 650 unique families with one service or another. One of the things that we did that I really feel very, very fortunate to, and I think that we're seeing some of that success in the FEMA numbers, is we've always seen over the years a very disconnect between our Latino population trying to register for FEMA because they don't have a good understanding of that process. And one of the things that we did early on is we started educating the community. And what we did is we printed off the forms directly from FEMA in the Spanish-speaking language, and we made sure to pass those out so that when families went to register for FEMA, they knew exactly what to bring and what to qualify. We really feel like this increased the approval of the applications tremendously, and I think that Monterey County deserves an enormous amount of credit for this, because they provided a lot of the interpreters for us that did a lot of this work. And when families brought their information back, they were able to help the families register directly online and get connected. And so that was just one of the many, many things that we did on top of the cleanup. As Maya pointed out recently, what our work has been, we are doing a lot of the repair work in Pajaro right now. We have I wished I could say that we have a whole lot more done than we do. We have completed 28 projects at this point. We have 2 that are pending, but we are really truly waiting on the case managers, Catholic Charities and Community Bridges. And both those organizations are doing a tremendous job. And the reason why we have to go through case management is because when we use donor dollars into a project, we need to make sure that we're spending those dollars wisely. So therefore, each client is vetted to make sure that our resources are, number one, needed, and then secondly, that they have the ability to care for the home once the work is complete. Some of the challenges that we continue to run into are there's an enormous amount of renters in the Pajaro area, and we're not getting to the landlords like we would like to see. And then secondly, we see a little bit of non-compliance from the clients not being able to get their documents back. Now, I don't want to criticize that or harp on that, because it could be at no fault of their own. There's many reasons why families can't produce their documents. we're doing our very best to work with our partners to make sure that we can try to create the opportunity to do as much repair work as possible. We're a can-do organization, not a can-don't, meaning that we really focus on every opportunity we can to help a family. And so, but two of the things that I really, not only do I want to just really personally thank Monterey County for being such a great partner with us, but there's two organizations specifically that have not only underwritten the cost of all the work that we have done and on the volunteer services side, but also the cost of materials. And that is the Monterey County Storm Relief Fund of the County Foundation of Monterey. They have been so generous to us and have allowed us to continue to be boots on the ground there in Pajaro and continue the good work. And then also we received a very generous grant from American Red Cross to help us pay for materials to do the repair work. So we do not charge for our work. We do not charge for the materials that we put into the repairs of a home. Two organizations that really stick out at the time of the repair work. I would really love to credit the United Methodist Committee on Relief, which is called UMCOR. And the second is the Tzu Chi. The Tzu Chi are a Buddhist organization that they're probably one of the larger ones in the world that really distribute a lot of financial resources. But what many don't understand is they actually come back and help volunteer too. And so, matter of fact, this past weekend, we had 8 of the Tzu Chi in the field with us, and we had just a terrific time. So we are working Thursday through Sundays currently. Volunteers are very limited, unfortunately. So we're doing the very best that we can. We have projected that our work will end at the end of September, and we're doing everything we can to continue to help as many families as possible. Now, I will say this, and that is, if we have a slow fire season, we may be able to extend our dates on that September. We may be able to move that off the mark a little bit if there's still more work that needs to be done. So thank you all for the opportunity to serve in your community, and any questions?
Thank you, Kevin, for that great wrap up. I think people really don't know, because you're quiet, that they think they don't know where you are, but you guys are there. And thank you for the shout out for Community Foundation, who's going to be on in just a couple of minutes too. And so I'm sure you guys are going to share the love then too. Any questions for Kevin on the Hope Crisis work? Seeing none. Hey, I do have a question, and maybe this is something you can talk about. You talked about, Thomas Hughes, go ahead, you first.
I'm sorry, but it's just because you mentioned the lack of volunteers. If someone wants to volunteer, what's the best and simplest way they can get in touch with you?
Appreciate that, Thomas. I really appreciate that, especially right now. I'm looking for mudders and tapers that can do drywall work. They can email me at Kevin, Kevin, @ and it's the letters HCRN.info. So it's Kevin at HCRN.info. And we get started every morning that we're on the sites between 8 and 9 o'clock. And we don't care how many hours you can put in a day. We're just thankful that you can come and serve and help us as much as you can.
Thank you. And then you talked about reaching landlords. Are you looking at ways to try to get better connected with landlords to try to get this, work moved on a little bit?
Yeah, we do. And we've got that connection. We're just getting a non-response. Sometimes, unfortunately, they're out of sight is out of mind, but there's also a lot of landlords that are doing the right thing in Pajaro as well. And we don't want to overlook them to say that, lump them into that, oh, well, landlords aren't doing anything, because they are. There's a lot that are. Unfortunately, there are quite a few that are not. For one reason or another. One of the biggest things we've heard is that, oh, I don't have the funds to be able to help do that, or some other reason. And I don't want to speculate, but Catholic Charities and Community Bridges is doing their utmost diligence to make sure that they are reaching those landlords, just not getting a favorable response when we offer the assistance.
Thank you, Kevin. Thanks for sharing this information. And we hope to get you back before end of September, before you guys are gone for good, because we'd like to get a wrap up with you.
You bet. Thanks.
Thank you. And as Kevin was mentioning, there are a variety of stages of repairs in the Pajaro community. And Rick Encarnacion from our Environmental Health Bureau of the Health Department is here. He's got some resources for residents if they have complaints or if they still need that important home inspection. Hi, Rick.
Hi, good afternoon, everybody. Rick Encarnacion, Environmental Health Bureau Director. Thank you for being here. Yes, we do have continue to provide services through environmental health. I'll put our county contact information. If anybody wants to call for a housing inspection with regards to the floods, as well as any concerns or complaints, like what Kevin mentioned, trying to get in touch with the landlords, we definitely could fill the gap there. We're ready. We have Spanish-speaking staff, health inspectors that actually go out to the field. We actually have a specialist specifically for housing available to address any concerns, especially related to the flood and the recovery efforts. And with that, I'm just open to any questions. The contact information is there, and again, Spanish and English speaking is available.
Rick, could you describe what the home inspection is? Because I think there could be misunderstandings about what comprises a home inspection with your staff.
Sure. Not just in the aftermath of a disaster, but we routinely respond to complaints from renters with regards to substandard housing. We'll look for issues like if there's anything that's causing a persistent mold issue, like a leak, or a repair issue, a cardinal repair that's not being addressed, like a repair for a significant damage to wall or roof, where conditions that would promote substandard housing conditions would persist and not being addressed by landlords. So we do that constantly. Trash and debris complaints, pests. Especially in the aftermath of a disaster where recovery is, the more speedy the recovery, the better. We also want to make sure that the public knows that environmental health will always be there to ensure that not only a speedy recovery, but persistent services are provided. And like what Mr. Cox mentioned, that people are responsive. And yes, landlords are pretty responsive, have been responsive. But if we do need to make contact, we're available. Our number's there, and you can look at our website. There's also means to submit complaints or concerns on the web through our website. And our inspections are pretty visual. We have our training to look for issues related to substandard housing, such as for structure, pests, trash, debris, and repair.
Thank you very much, Rick. I think that's probably something that people may not be aware of. They know about the home inspections, which have really, after the flood, had to do with mold, but I think people were not aware as how broad, your purview is in looking at what there could be there. Are there any questions for Rick about this topic? Thank you. And thank you very much, Rick, for putting the number in the chat. And then we'll make sure that we email this out to all of our media partners as well, so that they have it to share. Thank you. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
And then we're going to take Kevin Cox up on his call out of the Community Foundation for Monterey County. The County Storm Relief Fund has been really a tremendous support for the Pajaro recovery. It has sent hundreds of thousands of dollars into the community, and we are really thrilled that Laurel Lee Alexander is here to talk about the fund. And we already know where some of the money has gone. I hope you'll tell us more.
Thank you, Maya. Hi, everybody. It's great to see you all.
And Laurel, you have frozen.
Hear me?
I can hear you. Oh, there you
Okay.
are. You're good.
All right, so pardon if we have some issues. I'm going to turn off my camera and hopefully that will work. It's great to see you all, and thank you, Kevin, for that shout out to the Community Foundation for Monterey County. We did not plan that. And I am going to share my screen. Storm Relief Fund. So let me know if you can see this.
We've got you.
Okay, great. All right, so I'm going to try to briefly give an update on our Monterey County Storm Relief Fund. We began the fund in January of 2023. All of this information is on our website, so I'm not going to read each slide, but if you have any questions at the end of the presentation, I'm happy to answer them. We are basically focusing on relief and recovery. And as a reminder, the Community Foundation provides grants to nonprofit organizations that provide relief and recovery to the community. We do not provide grants to individuals. And I know that that's been a point of confusion during this season. So we have awarded almost $2 million through 61 grants from the Monterey County Storm Relief Fund. We've been so grateful to organizations like Hope Crisis Response Network and other grantees. And this provides a few highlights of some of the organizations that have been our grantees. Community Emergency Response Volunteers of the Monterey Peninsula, quite a mouthful, they go by SERVE. Community Bridges, Casa de la Cultura Center in Pajaro, Action Council, Meals on Wheels of the Monterey Peninsula, Pajaro Valley Prevention and Student Assistance. And again, these are just some highlights of the 61 grants that we have provided. I wanted to show the depth and breadth of the support that we provided all over Monterey County, not just in North County, but also a variety of support, which includes direct response to individuals, food and supply deliveries, and then, as Kevin had mentioned, specific volunteer resourced repairs to homes. So again, I'm trying to go very quickly to manage the time. This is the website address. You can go to cfmco.org and look for Storm Relief Fund. And it is a application process. And again, grants are open to nonprofits serving Monterey County. And it is a very simple grant application process. You apply online. There's no application due date or deadline, and we try to respond as quickly as possible. There is my contact information. Email is the best way to reach me. And lastly, I wanted to, there was a slide that thanked some of our partners, some foundations like the Packard Foundation, the Monterey Peninsula Foundation, Taylor Farms and Driscoll's, and thousands of individual donors who have donated to the Storm Relief Fund. Some of the donations were as small as $20. So we have appreciated the community support. And I think that is the end of the presentation. I'm going to turn on my camera to see if that works. And if there are any questions, I'm happy to answer them.
Thank you so much. That is just such fantastic news. It's just so exciting to see all the funds that have gone into these organizations that are really the boots on the ground and know what is needed. And so for people who have an organization that is working, there's still time to apply. And for people who want to donate, recovery does not happen overnight. So I think, you may want to encourage people to let's keep the recovery assistance going.
Correct. So I am not here to ask for donations, but if there are individuals or organizations that would like to donate to the fund, it's the Monterey County Storm Relief Fund. and there is still money available for grants. So we have provided grants. The last grant award date was just last week. So it is an open kind of grant application process.
So plenty of ways for people to still help Pajaro as it looks ahead to a brighter tomorrow for sure.
Right.
Thank you so much. And thanks for bringing us this great news. It's a great way to end the briefing. Our next briefing is next week and we'll see you then. Thanks everyone for participating.
Thank you.
Thank you.